is a silver bullet to many of our problems dealing with not only renewables, but efficiency and sustainability. And New Jersey really is in the right place. Unfortunately, some for the wrong reason. In the case of resiliency, we've just had our heads handed to us by Hurricane Sandy, and federal money is going to, at some point, dry up, no pun intended. And resiliency, what a new goal in the PACE legislation, can be greatly fostered by PACE. We are about to set a renewable goal in New Jersey of 80% renewables by the year 2050, which, by the way, is not as aggressive as it sounds, because you have many states in the United States of America that already have bigger goals and are achieving them faster, and many countries in the world have bigger goals, and some of which they've already accomplished. So, on the renewable side, we just have so far to go. It's absolutely unbelievable. And our current systems are failing. Now that Pender's on the board of public utilities, I have much more hope that we're going to see more progressive policies. But we've had a board of public utilities over the last 6 years that has been somewhat of a disappointment in its ability to respond to the changing energy and environmental and sustainability and efficiency environment. So this is a great opportunity for the private sector. And quite frankly, the private sector has always been one of the key stimulators of a cleaner and better environment. For example, when you look at some of the toxic and hazardous waste cleanup legislation in New Jersey, you had property transactions that couldn't occur until banks were satisfied that the property was cleaned up. Private sector, in effect, being environmental enforcement agencies. And quite frankly, this is another opportunity for the private sector to do what the BPU hasn't been able to accomplish, nor what our energy generators and or our utilities have been able to accomplish. In the case of the utilities, and if there are any utility members in the audience, don't be offended, but you are literally on crack cocaine with the vigor that gets built into rate proceedings. So to ask generators or utilities to be part of the solution, that is having New Jersey customers be more efficient, use less energy, or use more renewables, the incentives are in the wrong direction for that. And I don't know if we're ever going to get them off the cocaine habit. But that's not true with PACE. With PACE, all the incentives are right. We're providing the financial infrastructure to see to it that customers have lower energy bills, that their homes are more efficient, that their homes and or businesses are more sustainable. So here we have a program where all the incentives are in the right direction. And I agree with the governor and with former governor, not the current governor, don't get me wrong. Our former governor and with Commissioner Chivukula, who has similarly been a leader in this area, that private sector has a big role to play in making America and
That's excellent. I'm very, very thankful. I didn't mention the fact, just so we all know, Senator Bob Smith is the chairman of the Senate Environmental and, what is it, Energy and Environment Committee?
Actually, it's Environment and Energy.
Environment and Energy. And so much of the good legislation that it gets generated about our environment and energy here in New Jersey comes out of that committee. There's a similar one in the Assembly. But Bob has really been a champion, and he's also been, interestingly enough, considered been named a Legislator of the Year by such diverse groups as the New Jersey Recreation and Parks Association, as well as the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce. So very broad-shouldered, progressive legislator that's really actually doing something about our energy policy and our environmental issues. Thanks again. Bob, I don't know, can you wait till the end?
Yeah, I'm going to try to stay in for the whole panel.
Okay, great, great. Thanks again. It's my pleasure now to introduce Upendra Chivukula. Upendra was originally started working at AT&T Labs. He was there for about 17 years. Then he was elected mayor of Franklin Township and decided to go to the legislature, where he served for the last 13 years. And again, very much on the environmental committee, and you have a different name for it. What was it, solid waste and?
Telecommunication and Utilities Committee.
Telecommunication, and, yeah. So that's the committee he chaired. And that you were one of the original proponents on the Assembly side of the original PACE legislation. And he was a deputy speaker before he was appointed recently to be a commissioner of the BPU. So with that as a background, I give you the Honorable Mr. Chivukula.
Thank you, Gus, and it's indeed an honor to be on panel with Governor Florio and Senator Bob Smith and Deputy Mayor Lynn Talley from Voorhees Township. And I want to thank NJ Pace for inviting me here today. I just want to make a disclaimer that the comments I'm going to make are not the comments of the Board of Public Utilities, but as an individual commissioner, I make the comments. And I've been involved in the energy policy for a number of years, along with Senator Smith, and of the first PACE legislation, which is currently the law, was the author of that legislation. And when you look at the New Jersey's energy policy, when New Jersey went into deregulation in 1999, we set up an 8% requirement for renewable energy portfolio standard, which subsequently was increased to 22.5% of the energy has to come from the renewable energy sources. But if you look at the current portfolio, 47% or so comes from the nuclear energy, and about 47% comes from natural gas. And renewable energy is a very, not even close to 5%. And we have aggressive solar policies that were instituted, and SREC prices went up very high and came down, and the correction legislation went into place and corrected that. One of the challenges we have in New Jersey is that the financing for renewable energy, especially when natural gas prices came to went to around $3 per MMBTU, and it is very difficult for renewable energy to compete with such low prices of natural gas. And so we need to look at different options, how we are going to do the financing of the renewable energy. And Energy Master Plan is a document. It is just a roadmap where you want to go. And the current version goes back to 2011. It is in the process of being updated to take into consideration some of the challenges that we faced during Hurricane Sandy, and try to see how we can not only talk about reliability, we want to bring in the resiliency. And that's why I think the current legislation for the PACE legislation is trying to bring in some of the resiliency aspects into the PACE law, the current law. And New Jersey is a very interesting state in that you have 566 municipalities, 21 counties, and when you try to implement programs like this, municipality by municipality, it's quite a time-consuming thing. So we need to figure out maybe there is in terms of implementation, try to see whether we can take more regional approach, making use of the county utilities authorities, and try to see how we can try to come up with that private and public partnership, try to do the financing. And New Jersey Board of Public Utilities have several programs. One program which is working is the ESIP program, Employee Savings Energy Savings Improvement Program, and that is one of the things that is working, trying to see how municipalities can bring in the private capital to bring about energy efficiency and energy conservation into play. And post Hurricane Sandy, we have created Energy Resilience Bank. Some of the other states call it a green bank, and we have Energy Resilience Bank. We have set up with seed money from the federal HUD department, where you are getting about $200 million, and we have to try to come up with, identify the projects, and we have to commit the projects by year 2017. And we have Mike Hornsby here from the Board of Public Utilities, who's been working on the ERB. I just wanted to mention that. So when you look at all these different programs, we also have a direct install program, we have a pay for performance program, and we need to figure out how to bring all these programs together, how to see what role New Jersey PACE will play in that, and then we need to do a lot of thinking in that. Of course, we don't comment on the existing legislation, that's the administration policy, and hopefully the legislation goes to the governor's desk and he signs it, and we can talk about how to bring about all these programs together. Because if it is trying to do different things and sometimes they compete with each other, I think we need to make sure we coordinate all these programs. For example, if you're going to bring about 40% of the energy goes through the lighting, and if there is a program, part of the BPU, where you can get up to 70% of the money when you're changing the lights, going to LEDs and things like that. So where you don't need to use the capital from the private or the residential customers. So we need to figure out how to coordinate all these programs to make the New Jersey program, PACE program, successful. And I'm looking forward to hearing your questions, and I'm excited in that I've been on the job for over nine months now, and there are challenges. It's nothing, energy, when it comes to energy, nothing is easy. Anytime you have to spend money, whether it's a private capital, whether it's the individual ratepayers' money, one has to be very careful. We are held accountable for the ratepayers and making sure that every dollar is spent the right way and towards a clean and a green economy, as well as renewable energy is part of the energy policy of the state of New Jersey. Once again, I want to thank you.